Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which is sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities are not. We are an operational family office. We are a PR/marketing group, and we're also a software development group because we believe you need to take a 360-degree approach to building companies. So today on Top Global Startups, first of all, I want to welcome everyone to the show where I explore the founders and technologies that are shaping the future of innovation. As I said, I'm Gary Fowler, the CEO and president of the company, a global venture builder focused on scaling disruptive startups in AI, fintech, healthcare, and emerging technologies. I call them frontier sciences. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that every startup founder, product leader, investor wrestles with: the feature trap, why building more can kill your product. Too often, companies believe that adding more features equals more value, but in reality, the opposite can happen. Feature overload can create complexities. Feature overload can create complexity in terms of innovation, confuse customers, and ultimately destroy product market fit. Joining me today is Fredrik Mattsson. He's the CEO of Inamo, an AI-driven user research platform that helps product and design teams validate ideas with real users before they build. He spent more than a decade at enterprise SaaS working with companies across the Nordics on product development, customer insight, and digital transformation. Today, he focuses on helping organizations make evidence-based product decisions using AI-powered insight. So I'd like to welcome Fredrik to the show. Hi, Fredrik.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for having me.
What led you, it's interesting. First of all, you said you grew up or you were born in Sweden and you moved to Finland. Are your parents Finnish?
Yeah, Finnish parents.
So why did they live in Sweden?
It was part of, from the 60s to the 80s, a lot of Finns migrated to Sweden to work, just better salaries, better work. That was part of the wave. And then we came back in the early 90s to Finland. And yeah, there's the rest of the family as well.
Now, what do you like better, living in Sweden or living in Finland?
Well, I live in Finland, but work is in Stockholm. So I travel like half of the month. I'm at least in Stockholm. So I get the best of both worlds. Both have its perks. From a business point of view, I think probably Sweden is better, but then there's other values like sauna and these sort of things which are better in Finland. So
You like the sauna, huh?
Yeah. That's
Now,
what we do.
How often do you go on the sauna?
I have a sauna in my apartment here, so I go almost daily.
You have a sauna in your apartment?
Yeah.
Really?
5 million Finns and the same amount of saunas.
That's unbelievable. Now, how long do you stay in your sauna?
It's about an hour, and I especially like it because you can't bring electronics in there. So it's an hour of me with my own thoughts, nothing to disturb me. Just sit around and think and enjoy the heat.
And now, do you get out and jump into the bathtub with cold water too, or what do you do?
I just sit outside for a while. It's in an apartment. If it was in a cabin or something, I would go roll in snow.
Now, what happens if you get a cold? Does a sauna help get rid of it?
Different schools of thought on that. I don't like to go if I'm sick to the sauna, but then traditionally, sauna has been a place of healing.
One time I went so I thought, oh, it's going to be really good. I'm going to go into the sauna, and I had a cold. I had a chest cold, and I thought it would get better. I made it really bad, actually. I really, really made it bad. In fact, I was playing tennis on a tennis team, and I couldn't play tennis for 2 months because what I did is I drove that thing. I thought it would get better. It didn't get better. I'd lucky I didn't get the thing. But
you have to be careful.
Now that's interesting. So, Take us through your journey. What led you from enterprise SaaS into building a company focused on AI-driven user research?
Yeah, so I out of university, I joined a startup in the fintech industry, and I really enjoyed the whole process of building something new. I mean, you could be like a jack of all trades. So one day I was a lawyer, one day I was HR person, one day I was something else, and that was fun. And especially I was looking for my own niche and what it is I like to do. Eventually, I fell into business development, and I liked helping the customers find the right solutions and what they what would be the best way for them to use our tool. But you've been in fintech. The amount of red tape can really get to you especially if you want to develop something new and cutting edge. So eventually, I made a switch then to a scale up. I think we were 100 when I joined, 300 when I left. Uh, People working there, and just wanted to see how to push a company forward. Finally, I found the market research industry in an enterprise level company, and this is where I started to really enjoy the insights of how people behave and why people do certain things, and what that means in terms of business decisions when it comes to launching a product or tracking your brand or whatever it is. Um, so that's sort of the market research aspect of it. Didn't enjoy the enterprise world though, or the big company world, but with Inamo,
Why?
uh,
What didn't you like, Frederick? How different is it?
same thing. I mean, you become a cog in a big machinery, and I like to be more involved in the day-to-day decisions and so forth and so on, because you're basically always reporting to someone or having to check up on something or a certain process to follow, which of course has its place in big organizations. But if you want to, try new things and explore
They don't
and
like that sometimes, you know what I mean? They
yeah,
say you're
yeah.
not a team player and all those kind of things, right? Well, you're not
Exactly,
a team
exactly.
player and you're taking too many risks, and this isn't the company. I'll tell you the thing that got me is that we started having meetings to talk about meetings, and I
Yeah,
was like, I couldn't believe it. Meetings to talk about meetings to talk about meetings. And I
yeah,
was like, I'll never forget. So I sat down and I actually had a legal pad. So there's yellow legal pads,
yeah,
and I would just take and I had a beautiful Tume portfolio, and I would open it up, and I would just start writing things down, like little notes or whatever, kind of half paying attention because it wasn't so interesting.
yeah.
People loved it. They said, "Gary, you're really paying attention on this thing, aren't you?" I said, "Oh yeah, sure." Yeah, and people started deferring to me because I was the only one taking notes like that.
Yeah.
In reality, I was just, I'd write down a sentence that somebody said just because I was thinking about it. It wasn't
Yeah,
because, I was kind of, the deal. You kind of
yeah,
daydream sometimes because you're thinking this is so boring after doing a startup.
yeah. The circle closed for me after that. I joined Inamo in May last year. I did enjoy the market research industry, like I said, really getting into things and digging deeper. And with Inamo, you have the possibility to go even deeper because you're moving from quantified market research into qualified market research. So going into to really the why people do certain things and behave in certain ways, which sort of drives the or should drive the decision making process for most companies. Plus, it had the benefit of being a small company or a startup level company, so you got back to being again a jack of all trades, get to do different kind of things, different focus areas from time to
How many
time.
employees do you have, Frederick?
So we're a core team of about five, and then with all the outsourced resources, we're about 15 FTEs working in different areas. Biggest one being the development side, spending
Mhm.
a lot of resources now on developing our platform. And then, of course, we need to get revenue. So a big effort is also on sales and marketing and trying to find customers. The difficult part being is that this is the way of continuously doing research and exploring your own product from a qualified market research point of view is sort of a new thing. So we are, in that sense, a little bit of disruptors. So there's quite a lot of education and these sort of things that needs to be done for the markets.
It's interesting. So, how much revenue? Do you have revenue now? Are you
We have
revenue?
revenue now, yeah, but it's still kind of bootstrapped. So the company has been around for 7 years, but we started as a recruitment company just to find people to join on-site tests for an home appliance company. So they have a lab where they do testing, and they need to find people to come there and try their appliances. More and more companies started to wanting that, and eventually our customers started to asking for a platform to do this work online. So that development of that platform started about 2 years ago, and about last summer we were in a position where we're confident enough that it's a sellable product.
Many founders believe they understand their users. Why do so many companies still build products people don't actually want? I mean, I have some
Yeah,
myself, but it's just amazing. Actually, I've seen it so many times that they come up with these products, and they're great ideas for that person, right?
yeah. That's an interesting question and something we're working continuously on, educating companies that this is perhaps not the best way to do it on a gut feeling or what your friends and family say. You need the voice from the market to really understand what's going on. Traditionally, this has been very expensive to do because you need to find the people, and then it's been sort of gate kept by researchers, because the tools available today in the marketplace as well are geared towards researchers, which means that they are very complex to use. So you spend an awful lot of money on licenses, but then you maybe use 5 or 10% of the capabilities of those tools. Now, with AI and what all that enables, it sort of democratizes the whole research process, because you can bring this to people, and you don't have to be a researcher to get valuable insights from it. Like anyone who develops something towards end users can work with the material that's being produced. And in addition, you see more from the recruitment side of things. More and more people are online available for these sort of tests. So when we can do a programmatic integration with platforms that have end users who are available to test, that also brings the cost down. So you should what we see in our customer when they join us is their behavior change, where they in the past have maybe done 1 or 2 tests or reviews towards the public in the best case per year, to now being able to do it continuously, like every sprint. And it's something that still baffles me, that like product development has been done using sprint methods for years and years and years, but for some reason the research department is still using the waterfall method from the 80s, that you develop something, finish it, and then you start to figure out, okay, is this what we have done? Doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with you, and it's got to change because the innovation has to take place at a different kind of level, and it's got to
Yeah,
be pertinent. We can't waste that money. Customer development, for instance, has to be done.
yeah.
So, what exactly is a feature trap?
So a feature trap is that you develop something based on an assumption and put a lot of effort and put a lot of engineering hours and development hours into it, and you never really validate it towards the market or potential users. And that's something that is uh, it's not only for startups that do it, it's giant companies as well, and it can be I saw a study with a Swedish or a large car brand who spends thousands on developing
And that's a
features.
Swedish company?
Yeah,
I
on
wonder which
developing
one. I wonder which one it is.
no name named.
Huh.
But the study is publicly available. It's done by a professor in any Swedish university. But they spent countless amounts of thousands of euros on developing features, also
Mhm.
just to maintain them. They have done it, built it 10 years ago, but they don't know that no one uses it. But they still spend money on maintaining the services.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's start with the core concept. But what exactly is a feature trap? And so is it more common in startups or large enterprises? What do you think? Because I hear startups, that especially where they have engineers running the companies, start into this circle where they keep building, that they're trying to make it perfect, and they never want to get it to market. But sometimes they do it in a vacuum without getting customer development and feedback. So
Yeah,
what do you
but
think? Where is the biggest problem in large enterprises, or is it in startups?
I think it's in both. I think it's equal because you have the same sort of people, same sort of processes when you boil down to it, working in both environments. The processes are pretty much the same. It's in a smaller scale often in startups, and a larger scale with bigger companies, but the problems remain the same. It doesn't matter if you have one engineer or one developer or 100, but if they all do the same things, it's they have the same problem. The difference being that in bigger companies you might find those people that lift their hand and say maybe we should do something about it, while startups they don't usually have the support from other co-workers in that same sense. uh, it's more isolated perhaps if you're working in a startup.
Have you seen examples where companies almost killed a great product by over engineering it?
Yeah, uh, especially in industries that are growing fast, I would say. Uh, because there's no, they don't see a space to actually stop and think what they're doing about what they're doing. So for instance, the fintech industry is one of those, or legal tech, or martech. Uh, they don't. It's habit is perhaps the wrong word, but it comes up now and again that things are going so fast because there's so much pressure from investors and from the market to be on the bleeding edge of the stuff that they're developing. So the need for innovation is so high that it pushes companies to just react rather than actually explore what's actually going on.
Product market fit is often described as a moment, but in reality, it's more of a continuous discovery process. And I talked about it, right? Going
Yeah,
down through when I build my companies, I generally go out and I'll mock up what I want it to look like, the tool, and I'll go down through and I'll present it to 50 people in Palo Alto in California. And I'll walk down the street and I'll get their opinion on it because I don't want to build something people don't want, or put features in it that don't need to be there, or miss the market. So,
yeah.
um, is it a continuous discovery process, and what do you think about it?
I think it's a continuous discovery process. I think as even because it's become so easy to do, there's no reason to just within a couple of hours get some feedback on what it is you're developing. So it can be, as we have marketers who just want to see if their new newsletter makes sense or the new design makes sense. You can get the feedback in a couple of hours uh, if you don't want to go down the street and ask people, which is of course also a great way of doing it, as long as you're doing it. but most people don't. They go on a gut feeling, and I think that's the wrong approach to. It's a big gamble, I think,
Oh, I
to
agree, because
build
you
and
build
develop
stuff in a
everything.
vacuum, right?
Yeah,
And, you start believing your own bullshit. "Oh, I
yeah,
think I built the greatest thing. This is great. Everybody's gonna want it." I've seen it, but there's only one Steve Jobs, right?
yeah.
Who could do that, and people with, "Oh, this is fame. Look at the iPhone," right? And he came out. But, so many startups rely heavily on analytics dashboards. Why are behavioral metrics alone insufficient, in your opinion? So
Uh,
the startups are, different animal, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can track what people are doing and these sort of things. That's fairly easy to figure out with different analytics tools and these sort of things. The difference when it comes then to qualitative research is that you actually get to drill into the why people are doing things in a certain way. I mean, you can see that I have an issue here, and then you can try to develop 5 different solutions to it. But or you can ask people why are they doing this way, and then you can develop one thing which solves the problem. So that's sort of the disconnect a little bit if you're just looking at analytics and not actually speaking with people.
What are the most common mistakes team make when conducting user research?
The biggest mistake is not doing it at all.
Mhm.
Uh, but then of course it's a learning process as well for the people who are getting into it, especially in our customer base, where the users are those who are developing it. They're not researchers. So that's an art that they improve upon up with time. But with now, AI tools are available. They're integrated into our tool as well, so we can guide them in making those, avoiding the mistakes and using the best practices that are out there. But I mean, I would say that as long as you're asking someone outside of friends and family and those who are just going to say thumbs up for everything, then you're already like doing a good
Yeah, that's
job.
the problem with friends and family. No matter
Yeah,
what you do, it's right.
exactly.
That's interesting. Are we moving newer towards a world where AI becomes a continuous feedback engine for product development?
I think so, but to what degree is still up in the air a little bit for me. I think we can use AI to get a general sense of direction when developing, and that's also something we've been exploring with building AI personas who behave in a certain way. But the issue with AI for now is that you're always basing things on historical data. So, people and behavior is an ever-changing thing, and AI is falling behind on is will always be behind on that because it's based on what we have learned so far. So, I mean, an extreme example is the way millennials think different than Gen Zers or whoever else. There's a disconnect there. So the same sort of disconnect will be between humans and AI as well for the time being. 20 years, when we have machines thinking for themselves, it might be a different question.
Yeah, it could be. And hopefully we build empathy and compassion in, because if not, nothing good's going to happen.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Can we, do you think, we eventually see AI simulated users or digital persons that help teams test ideas before real deployment?
Yeah, and that's something already in the works with us. So we are because we have historical data. We are able to build these AI personas. So the first version actually came out around Christmas for us. So we can ask a person to behave like a female 25-year-olds from Germany who has a certain level of tech interest and ask them to perform certain tasks and see what the result would be. That's also something you can ask from chatbots or the open the chat GPTs and these sort of things. The difference with what we are trying to do is that's all we don't know what that explanation is based on. But what we're trying to do then instead is actually have the AI actually do these sessions. So everything is being recorded so you can see what the AI actually did and see if there's any correlation with how the humans would do it. So for us to um, suggest that the user would behave in a certain way, we sort of have the receipts that this is the way the AI does it, rather than just say that this is what's happening without an explanation.
What role do technologies like LLMs and conversational AI play in analyzing qualitative user data?
It plays currently quite a big role, because that's the tool that those people who actually do this have to go to. It's widely available and easy to use. Again, it comes down to how much do you trust the results of AI, because there will always be biased and there will always be different people react to things in different ways around the world. There's cultural differences between Finland and Sweden, like we discussed, and these sort of things. So there's always a bias there with if the LLM isn't able to take that into account.
Now it's interesting. So, do you think that um, we're going to be using these AI simulated digital persons uh, on what percent of the companies are going to use these synthetic humans, essentially, right? Digital personas that help teams test the ideas. Do you think it's going to be widely spread
I think
or
it's
not?
going to be widely spread. We saw synthetic data and synthetic information starting to spring up in the quantitative market research world here 10 years ago, maybe. And that's being more and more fine tuned all the time, and more companies are relying on that data. And I think the same thing will be uh, for qualitative research and qualitative information as well. Uh, and I think that will be the widely used way of taking decisions now. But then I think the human will still be the centerpiece, or the play a central role when it comes to uh, making a little bit bigger validations, like day-to-day things. Hour-to-hour decisions can be made with AI, something that you need to research once per week or once or twice per week. That's when humans will still be involved.
You say when they'll still be involved, but they may not be involved in the future, right?
I mean, things are happening so quickly in the AI space, so I'm a little bit careful with my predictions here. I think 5 years ago, not many people could guess what the world would look like today. Probably the same will be the same. The same will be true for the next 5 years.
Now, this is we're coming to the top of the show, and this has been a fantastic conversation, Fredrik. Understanding your users before building may be one of the most underrated competitive advantages in technology today. So, and to everyone watching or listening my show today, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow us more for conversation with founders building the future of technology. So, I want to say thanks for the show. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you, Fredrik?
Yeah, closing thoughts. I mean, just do something. It's that's a good first step. There are tools out there for that you can use, Inamo being one of them. Um, uh, but you need to make informed decisions. Making assumptions is a big risk. You can get a hold of me. I think the LinkedIn profile is available here somewhere, or Fredrik at inamo.ai if you want to reach me via email.
Yeah, that's great. So if you want to stay on for a few minutes after the show, we can talk. To all of you out there, thanks so much for joining. We're now at 1,630 podcasts, and it's all because of you with millions of views worldwide. So if you like it, please click and subscribe. And as you know, my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay sappy, stay safe, and stay healthy. I'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition of GSD Presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the host and the CEO of GSD Venture Studios. Thanks so much, and thanks, everybody.